Are your memories holding you back? Are your memories of your past experiences, keeping you in a small place instead of allowing you to reach the place that God has established for you? When you're pursuing your passion in a godly fashion, you cannot be looking backwards and expecting to receive your inheritance, because your inheritance is a present thing. Your inheritance is a future thing. It's not in your past. And the longer you look back, the longer it's going to take you to arrive at the place that God has ordained for you, to arrive at the place that you want to be at. Remember Lot's wife. She looked back and she missed the promise of a brand new life. She looked back and she missed a new destination. She looked back and she missed an adventure. She looked back and she was left with nothing. If you've been in a situation where there's cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle repeating, but every cycle is the same cycle,
honey, it's time to get it together. It's time to snap out of it. The only cycle that should be repeated is a rinse cycle.
So if you're not getting washed, if you're not being cleaned, if you're not being renewed in these cycles, then it's time to come out of those cycles. And part of coming out of those cycles is letting go of our memories, letting go of the past. Allow the things that were errors to inform your decisions and help you activate wisely. But do not allow them to have you trapped, to have you stuck, to have you seeking closure from people who cannot give you closure. And that's a whole different video, closure, right? But let me tell you something. The only person who has the power to change a page in your life is you. So if you're waiting for a voice to tell you that it's okay to move on, if you're waiting for permission to move out of the past and move into the present, you have the permission. You have the permission slip in your hand. You just have to sign it. Closure is not up to anybody else. Closure comes from you. So do not let the memories of what happened linger and linger so long that it has arrested you and arrested your development and kept you in the same place, when God is trying to give you greater, bring you to more. And you're in the same place for years. The children of Israel were in the wilderness for 40 years. An 11 days journey. This is only 10, right? 11, 10 plus 1. An 11 days journey turned into 40 years in the wilderness because they kept remembering. They kept recalling. Because they were thinking about what happened to them when they were in Egypt and what they received in Egypt. And the fact that their present estate did not look the same way it did when they were in Egypt. They did not allow themselves to realize that where God was taking them was going to be greater. They did not allow themselves to realize that they were going to have to walk a little bit. Instead, they kept fantasizing and romanticizing the bread and the potatoes and the meat that they had. Suddenly, they forgot about the bricks and the straw and all the work they had to do. And they just remembered the meat they had. Suddenly, they forgot about all the hard work that they did. And suddenly all they recalled were the benefits. And sometimes what we recall appears to be benefits, but we don't recognize that it really is bondage. And in that moment, it is the enemy trying to trap us in our thoughts. Therefore, if our mind is trapped, he knows that we will be trapped physically. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So he knows that you will never enter into Canaan land. You will never receive the milk and the honey. You will never receive the promise. You will never receive your inheritance as long as he's able to make your memory a captor for you. As long as he's able to bind you in the brain, he's got you. And you will not elevate because you are looking backwards. And wherever we look, whatever we focus on, that's the direction we head in. So on today, cleanse yourself of your memories. Release yourself of your memories. Don't look back longing. Look back in reflection. Look back for understanding. Look back and then look forward. Look ahead at the promise, at the passion, at the purpose in which you are bursting at the seams, in which you are full of. And allow yourself to expand rather than contract, because your memories keep holding you back.